A very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. So today is 19 June 2025, Thursday class. So as usual, we will gather and we will have our physical puja. Come. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨。南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวะพุทธังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสุขโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอาดินาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาระเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาทฏฐานะเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิกันนาสารปะดิเทนะดิเปนะตมาดังสีนะติโลกาดิปังสัมบุตตังปูจายามิตโมนุดังกันดาสัมบารยุเตนะตุเปนะหังสุกังหินะปูจาเยปูจานิยังตังปูจาบาจานะมุตตมังวันนะกันดากุโนเปตังเอตังกุสุมาสันตติน Pujayami Munindasa Siripada Sarorohe Jemi Bedang Kesumena Nena Punnena Matena Cha Hotu Mokhang Pupang Milayati Yata Idang Me Kayo Tata Yati Vinasa Bhavang Adivase Tu No Bante Paniyang Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Mutamang Adivase Tu No Bante Pali Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Mutamang Adivase Tu No Bante Bojanang Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Mutamang. Okay, now we will chant the Puja Aspirations based on our understanding of the significance of all these Puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness and ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May these offerings of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free Nibbana. Making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or powers. Sharing and transfer of merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the affinity, condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let us pay homage triple jam. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Just relax body and mind completely. Be at ease. Feel completely relaxed. Then remember the four support that can bring about awareness within. The first support is relax body and mind completely. Don't try to know, don't try to do. Just relax into every mind state that arises. Whatever sensation arises, just aware. Finish. So second support after relaxation is maintaining awareness. Just aware, whatever happens, arise within the form and mind. Aware. Is always through one of the sense spaces. You can only be aware of tactile, hearing, smell, taste, seeing if your eye is open, or sometimes when your eye is closed, there can be mental formation within. Then there is also this thought consciousness that arises through the brain, where you have a lot of memories. So the arising of thought consciousness is via memory. That's why thought is respond to memory. When there is memory, thought can arise. So whatever arises, aware, finish. Maintaining awareness is not easy. Not to react and stir your mind, just aware, silent. Then the third support is to stabilize this ability to be aware. Means continue to stabilize the awareness within. When you can just relax, maintain awareness, and let things be, then everything will slow down. Your mental activity, your sankhara activity and movement, they will start to slow down. When you don't give it meaning, then everything will just arise and pass away, arise and pass away. They need thought energy to continue to proliferate and move. So if you just relax, maintain awareness, don't try to know, don't try to do anything, then everything slow down. Until that mundane thinking mind, the mundane mind, return to its original state before the thinking, before the arising of thought, before the stirring and the reaction. So all this, you will get to experience the movement, the phenomena, and develop the understanding within. Then as you continue to train your mind to develop this ability to be aware within, you will come to a realization that there are two minds within your nature. First is the true mind, the silent mind, the original pure awareness nature that is just aware. But from there, all thinking, all stirring, all thought process, all aggregates of mind, they arise. So all of your feeling, perception, activity of mind, sankhara activity, mind states, even consciousness, they arise from there. Then the moment consciousness arises, what follows is very important. When you are aware, you can see it is from your knowledge, your memory, your brain that accumulated all these views, opinion, conditioning and belief system. This will have a tendency to condition you into negativity, to act, to react and stir your mind. That's why if you can just let things be and see things as they are without the interference of thought, knowledge and memory, then you become beautiful. then you become that true nature, that true mind that has the ability to be in that complete state of stillness, tranquility, but yet is aware within. So awareness-based meditation has this unique capability to allow the cultivator to develop his wisdom and understanding. Then when you can understand this movement, then you understand clearly the essential Dhamma is taught by the Buddha. Why the Buddha mentioned mind is the forerunner of all things. When mind arises, all things arise. That mind is the mano, the mundane mind, the thinking mind, the dependent originating mind, condition arising mind. They call it the mundane mind, the thinking mind. Whereas the other one that doesn't move, the pure awareness nature, that is your true mind, your silent mind, which is all the time there. This is the primordial. It is there before all things. So when you can see that, then you understand within that state, without thought, you will clearly understand who are you, what are you. You are actually completely empty, nothing. In the sense that nature is not a being. It cannot come out and live life. It's not a permanent, unchanging entity. You cannot hold on to it. You cannot grasp onto it. You cannot cling on to it. So that understanding is very important. Okay, so now I will allow you to train your pure awareness nature until it becomes very stable. And for those who already have trained and developed the ability, you can move on to the fourth support, which is trust. Trust your inner nature to develop the meditative movement. Silence everything. Stay at your heart area and let the nature move by itself. Detect whatever that arises. So normally at the heart area, you will be able to detect your heartbeat and all the various type of vibration within your heart area. So you just silence everything. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything. Just maintain awareness and let that nature move, pick up whatever it is able to pick up. So when you can detect the heartbeat, just stay with it, maintain awareness, and allow the awareness and the heartbeat or heart activity or movement to move as one in harmony, synchrony, or whatever vibration is the same. You just stay there, silent, and let the awareness and the phenomena move as one until it becomes completely quiet and still, until there is no movement, no activity. Then something will happen. Okay, with this, I will let you meditate on your own. I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. You can slowly, mindfully come out of meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have for as long as you can. These are the mind states that are very conducive for us to maintain heedfulness, to develop the daily mindfulness so that we are ever mindful, constantly meditative. So tonight, being a Thursday class, we will continue our class sharing from this book, Straight from the Heart, Unique Dhamma Code by me, So we are towards the end of the sharing. We completed unique Dhamma quote 155. So we are going to do 156. Then the whole book has only 161 quotes. So there is another 6 more quotes to go, which I think we will cover quite fast. So with this, maybe after that, we will start off with another book, or another maybe form of Dhamma sharing which is suitable and conducive. You have any suggestion, any particular book or topic that you want, you can WhatsApp me or suggest to our WhatsApp Maikayamita group so that we can share it. Otherwise, we may later even revert back to our old format, which is general topic. Whatever topic that Kayamita might want to develop the understanding, then we will go into it. Means open-ended. In fact, Thursday class started that way actually. Until later, when we wanted to go through this unique Dhamma quote, then we actually amended the format. Okay, now turn to page 6 of our chanting book. We will do the invocation to the Devas. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in their entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Iti peso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijacharana sampanno sugato lokavido anotaro purisa dhammasarthi satta deva manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sandetiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanayiko Pachatang Veditambo Inohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Chatari Purisa Yogani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Savakasango Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakeneyo Anjali Karaneyo Anotarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. And we shall continue from where we stopped. Unit code 155 on page 43. This one we have covered, so I just go through it as a revision. Unit code 155. The moment you are attentive without thought, you are already aware, means that is sati. So always remember, the moment you are attentive without thought, when you pay attention without thought, that is sati. Don't try to be mindful. Silence your mind, and then you will realize your true mind, your silent mind, your meditative mind. So without any thought activity, that is sati, that is your true mind. Then understanding that, we will move on to unit code 156. This one is based on the advice of all Sama Sambuddha, Dhammapada verse 183. In Pali, they always chant it as Sabba Papasa Akaranang Kusalesa Upasambadan Sachitta Pariyodapanang Etang Buddhana Sasana. The meaning is Sabbe Papasa means all evil, Akaranang, you must avoid all evil. Then Kusalesa means whatever wholesomeness. Upasambadan means develop whatever wholesomeness or goodness of heart that you can develop or cultivate whenever there is condition. And finally, the third advice is Sachitta Pariyodapanang Eta Buddhana Sasana. Chitta is mind. You need to purify your mind. So the third advice is different. It's not just to avoid all evil, cultivate wholesomeness. These first two, they are basically thought-based, still involving thought. That's why the four right effort within the Noble Eightfold Path serve that purpose. But when it comes to purification of mind, to realize the wisdom, the insight, knowledges, the understanding to transcend life, that part you need mindfulness, you need heedfulness. So purification of mind is very different from normal cultivating of precepts to avoid all evil and to cultivate wholesomeness. So here the unit quote, I summarize it for you. I said the Buddha taught heedfulness or mindfulness when it comes to purification of mind. Whereas the Buddha's first two advice of his Dhammapada verse 183 is to avoid all evil, do good. These two advice are both thought-based, involving the four right effort. So maybe I will write it down so that you all can understand. So this Dhammapada verse 183 got three advice. First is avoid all evil. Two is cultivate. wholesomeness, or sometimes they summarize it as doing good. Then the last one is purification of mind. So this purification of mind need mindfulness leading to heedfulness. Whereas 1 and 2, they are mainly thought-based. These two are thought-based. That's why in the Noble Eightfold Path, you have the 4 right effort. So thought-based, yeah, 4 right effort. So most people, they don't have clear understanding of the 3 advice. So sometimes they got themselves actually confused. So when it comes to avoiding all evil, they only understand that you have to avoid the 3 evil roots, which are the roots of all evil: greed, hatred, and delusion. But under the teaching, what the Buddha actually advises to keep the precepts. So how does keeping the precept can lead to the avoidance of all evil? That part seldom people link. They just straight away go to the 4 right effort. They will teach you like following the text. The first right effort is to abandon whatever wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action that has a reason. Means the first right effort is to abandon the wrong thought that has a reason. Means the thought that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. That's why it's still thought-based. There is still effort involved. So right effort to do what? To avoid all evil. We are cultivating the understanding of what constitutes evil. Greed, hatred, and delusion, they are the 3 major evils. Whatever mind state that has any of the 3, or a combination of any of the 3, greed, hatred, or delusion, sometimes it may have all the 3, and most of the time it has all the 3. Whenever the evil roots are there, means it's a wrong thought. The thought that will condition the living being into evil activity. So, evil action, speech, and thought process will arise once you do not have the mindfulness to be aware of the evil roots and the Dhamma understanding of what constitutes evil. That's why the Buddha actually helped cultivator to simplify this cultivation by prescribing the 5 basic precepts which all lay people must keep. Then if we were to look at the basic precepts, then we will start to develop the understanding of the teaching. The first precept is Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. What does it mean? It means we undertake the training rules to abstain from killing or causing harm to fellow living beings. Means all living things or beings that have life. Why must we do that? If we ask ourselves, who will do that? Then you can actually develop the understanding. Who will kill? Who will harm or cause all this karmic negativity that leads to killing, mental and physical suffering? Then we will know only evil people that are selfish, greedy, possessive, violent, deluded. Means they have all the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. That's why if you break that precept, it constitutes major evil. And when it constitutes major evil, it will condition major karmic. The karmic effect means major karmic negativity that leads to suffering. Because based on the Buddha's understanding, under the 5 daily contemplation, he said the 5th one, based on that right view, he said, we are all living beings, not only human beings, whatever that has life, born of our karma. We inherited heir to our karma. We are conditioned and supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So when we understand that, then we understand the law of karma is so powerful. We are not only born of it, we inherited all of it. Then we are conditioned and supported by that karmic nature all the time. And you are what you are because of that karmic nature. That's why that powerful 5th contemplation, which is a very important right view, from there the teaching come about. If that is the case, what must we do as living being or human being, especially human being in our particular birth, this life, this segment of our life? Which means, if you don't take care of karma, your life will go into situation that can lead to suffering, misery. Because if you are born of your karma, heir to your karma conditions, and you are what you are because of karma, karma plays such a great role in your life, almost 100% of your life. I used to say 99.999 is because that is the extent karmic will manifest. So if karma is plays such a great role in our life and our existence, we need to really seriously take care of karma. And how do we take care of karma? We have to avoid all evil and cultivate wholesomeness. That's how we take care of karma. And that's how the first 2 advice of the Buddha come about. Then you go into the 2nd precept, it's the same. The 2nd precept is to abstain from stealing, taking things that don't belong to us. So, who are the people who will break that precept or do such evil activity that leads to the breaking of the 2nd precept? They are mainly deluded people, selfish people, and people who has motive, ulterior motive, or very selfish intent. That's why that selfishness, that greediness, which is the evil roots of greed and hatred. Greed, mainly greed, and delusion. So this 2nd precept is mainly greed and delusion. So if you want to avoid that precept, then you need to arise the right effort to abandon that selfishness or that greed, the evil roots that manifest from there, and also the self-delusion, sakayaditi. So this sakayaditi is very difficult to break, because like I explained in the early days, the basis of these 3 evil roots, they stem from sakayaditi, which is self-delusion, believing that this 5 aggregate of form and mind, the so-called living being or human being, is a permanent, unchanging entity. And this one is what you are. And you believe this is real, this is what you are, then what happens is, the mind that arises from this becomes egoic. When it's egoic, it carries with it a personality, the egoic mind. And that personality is the one that will manifest the ego. The personality or the ego that will do all these things. And when you think you exist, then you will develop craving to own things, to possess things, to have things. So that one will trigger off greed, including selfishness, including covetousness, including possessiveness. So all these are the various forms of greed that manifest. In Pali is called lobha. So understanding this is very important. Basically, the right effort to abandon this egoic mind cannot be developed if the wisdom is not there. That's why you need to purify your mind to actually develop the wisdom to enable you to see clearly that this five aggregate of form and mind is dependent, originating, condition arising, cause of not a permanent, unchanging entity. That you can say, this is me, this is I, therefore all this can be mine. That is a delusion, sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. That concept of a permanent, unchanging entity, which is the ego, is a delusion. And not able to penetrate this and see this clearly via the direct seeing, which is basically the purification of mind, cultivation of bhavanamaya panya, the meditative understanding. It is not possible for one to break free from sakkayaditthi. So if sakkayaditthi cannot be seen or realized or awakened to, then keeping the precept may not be easy. That's why the Buddha thought of a skillful means. He started off by using the thought-based right effort. Right effort to what? Abandon the wrong thought, still using thought. What are the wrong thoughts? Thought that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. And how to abandon those wrong thoughts? The Buddha taught us the 5 ways. Basically, it's only the 4 ways. The last one is non-Dhamma approach. The first 4, as we have gone through, the first 2 is still thought-based. Think of the direct opposite wholesome thought. That one is still thought. That's why when there is this selfishness, when there is this possessiveness, when there is this selfishness leading to cruelty, leading to what they call greed and desire, including what they call possessiveness and all those things. So once that evil root manifests, you will have to think of the direct opposite wholesome thought to abandon it. So like selfishness, we must think of generosity to counter selfishness. Then anger, hatred, we must think of metta, loving kindness, the opposite, direct wholesome thought. Then the other one is cruelty. Cruelty also manifests from anger, from hatred, from selfishness. That's why it makes one cruel. So to overcome cruelty, we must have compassion. We must have love. Then the other one is like last desire, all these things, you must develop contentment of mind. So the direct opposite wholesome thought, if you reflect on it, contemplate on it, then it can help you through the thought base temporarily to overcome or avoid those wrong thoughts that will manifest. So abandoning the wrong thought through thinking of the direct opposite wholesome thought is the first thought-based approach. But that one is not a solution. That one is temporary. So every time you have wrong thought, you have to go back to that, which is not a permanent solution. And that will not help you much. And that's why the Buddha said, from there, you go to the second way. The second way is to reflect and contemplate on the danger of holding on to that wrong thought. If you hold on to that wrong thought, that is an evil thought. Root of all evil, make you evil, cause your karmic downfall. Is that what you want? If that is not what you want, then you must determine through the second right effort to abandon it. The first right effort to abandon it. So to abandon it, there are two basic fundamental ways, which is meditative. So the second right effort, still thought-based. You determine through your thought to abandon it, because you see the danger of holding on to that wrong thought. So think of the consequence of holding on to that wrong thought if you don't abandon it. Then after that you move on to the third way. And the third and fourth way is the meditative way. The third way is to develop the purification of mind, which is sati. Develop mindfulness. Then when that evil roots of greed, hatred or delusion, any of the evil roots, whether it's fear, worry, anxiety, anger, sorrow, lamentation or whatever, when it arises, maintain mindfulness, which we are developing through this awareness-based meditation. Relax, maintain awareness. So whatever mind state that arises, you maintain awareness. What happens is, when anger arises, you maintain awareness. Then silence your mind and find out what happened. That anger dissolved by itself, because that anger was not an intrinsic mind state within your nature. That anger is a dependent originating emotion, arises via wrong view, wrong thought. When you have wrong view, wrong thought, especially Sakkaya Ditthi, then you stir your mind and develop the reaction to sense experience. That's how they manifest. And when they manifest, anger is not you. Fear is not you. All these emotions are not you. They are dependent originating mind state. See that clearly. To see that, you must meditate with sati. When you have sati, when you can silence your mind and be with that emotion, then like J. Krishnamurti's explanation, the very flowering of that thought is the very ending of that thought. Means that emotion may be fear or anger or hatred or even violent desire or whatever. That emotion, which is dependent originating, need thought energy to sustain its existence, to sustain its movement. But when you are just aware, mindful, and you don't give it any more wrong thought energy, then what happens is it will flower and cease. Means no more condition for it to continue to manifest and move and develop further. Then it will slow down, slow down, slow down. Then it will cease. Then when it ceases, you feel at your heart area. The whole thing becomes very tranquil, still. like all of a sudden the emotion all gone. Especially if you do it for the first few times, the first and second time, then you develop great wisdom. Then you realize that is the teaching. All this anger, hatred, craving, desire, they are not you. If they are not you, then why do you react to it? Why do you deludedly say, after cultivating for so long, I still have anger, I still have craving, desire, violent, I can still become emotional, fearful and other things. All these are due to sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. You don't have wisdom. You cannot understand all this movement and manifestation. They are all dependent originating mind state, following the 12 links, paticca samuppada. So when you develop sati or mindfulness, leading to heedfulness, then you can develop the wisdom to actually understand all this, then not to be affected by it. So the third way is just to maintain awareness. So that one is a very good way, a meditative way to actually dissolve the wrong thought. So once the wrong thought is gone, it cannot condition karmic negativity. That's why the way to abandon the wrong thought becomes automatic. No effort is involved. You only develop the awareness of it. Then through the awareness, you develop the wisdom, then it dissolves. Then it's gone. But that understanding, you still haven't penetrated the wisdom part. Because the wisdom part is still not complete. It is only partial. When you maintain awareness, there is cease. But you have not traced the origination factor. Then through the tracing, which is the fourth way, where the Buddha taught us to develop the mindfulness of the internal six sense bases and external six sense bases, to develop the understanding of how this emotion or wrong thought arise, means the origination factor through your wrong view, through your mental reaction and stirring of the mind. So when you trace the origination factor, then you realize it's from the senses, one of the six sense door. Without this manifesting, you will not input the wrong thought to stir your mind and to develop all this delusion. And all this will not carry through and manifest. So the understanding of it is very important. Then the Buddha said, after you have traced this origination factor, then you know they originate from the sense basis through our wrong thought and wrong view. Then he said, through that mindfulness and understanding, you have to retrospectively develop the wisdom to abandon it. Means retrospectively reverse all this through an understanding. Then how do you reverse? We need to inquire. Why did we stir? Why did we react to sense experience and condition the wrong thought, which is the wrong emotion, like fear, anger, hatred, jealousy, envy? All this, how does it arise? Because we cannot see things as they are, as taught by the Buddha. You have to learn to see things as they are. We are the direct seeing, without the interference of memory, knowledge, and the thought process. Your views, opinion, conditioning. And that part is the wisdom part. So once you trace the origination factor, then you learn to see things as they are. Then you come to realize, like what I share with you all. People are just the way they are. The world is the world. Condition like that, things be like that. Like the Buddha said, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. And these causes and conditions the Buddha has already explained via his fifth daily contemplation, mainly karmically conditioned. So all this understanding, when they manifest, then you develop this ability to accept whatever that arises. Well, whatever arises is the reality. Causes and conditions are already set. The movement is going to be this way. It cannot be otherwise. So when you can come to terms with the reality, we are seeing things as they are, then you can accept them for what they are, which means you no longer stir your mind to react to it negatively or with fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation. So no more anger, no more jealousy, no more fear, no more emotion, nothing. Your mind becomes peaceful, tranquil, because it can see things as they are, accept the reality for what it is. So learning to see things as they are via the direct seeing without thought is the solution, is the wisdom way. So this fourth way will develop the real wisdom, and this one become Yoniso Manasikara, wisdom at the moment of sense experience. Then the next time when you see something, hear something, smell something, taste something, tactily feel, or the thought recall something, this arising of sense experience, at the moment when it arises, the wisdom that you have developed will prompt you. And that Yoniso Manasikara is spontaneous. When it spontaneously arises, it will be able to enable you to arise the second right effort to prevent it from arising. So the second right effort is to prevent all this wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action from arising at the moment of sense experience. So to do that, you need that wisdom, the third and fourth way wisdom. Without the third and fourth way wisdom, you cannot prevent it from arising. Yeah? So the third and fourth way is not thought-based. This one is awareness-based. Awareness or sati-based. That's why without sati, without mindfulness, you cannot develop the Yoniso Manasikara or wisdom to allow you to act, to allow you to break free. So this Dhammapada verse 183 basically have three advices. The first two are mainly thought-based. Think of the direct opposite wholesome thought, and think of the consequence of holding on to that wrong thought. This one will develop the initial understanding that you really have to make the effort to abandon them. But how do you abandon them? So thinking of the direct opposite wholesome thought, still thought-based, is not a permanent solution. Thinking of the consequence is still a thought, that thing. But it can help, because thought-based is still the initial understanding, still knowledge-based. Then after that, the meditative one is the third and fourth way. The third and fourth way needs sati leading to heedfulness or apamada. So this one will develop the full movement of understanding. The third way already very good. But the third way, every time you have problem, when you have anger, when you have fear, when you are emotional, then you go and meditate and silence your mind and maintain awareness. Then of course it dissolves, it ceases. But you ask yourself, with that way, every time you got a wrong thought, you need to go and silence your mind. Understand or not? That one cannot live life, isn't it? True or not? To live life, you need to go for the fourth way. Isn't it? The fourth way is to develop the wisdom to retrospectively reverse all this. Means to trace the origination factor means via mindfulness. Mindfulness, the four foundation of mindfulness, means the fourth category, the fourth foundation, we call it Dhamma Nupassana. Dhamma Nupassana, the third category of practice, after mindfulness of the five mental hindrance, mindfulness of the five aggregates of form and mind, you go for mindfulness of the six internal sense bases and the six external sense bases. That one, if you cultivate, then it will lead to the wisdom. That one will allow you to trace the origination factor. Then retrospectively reverse it. To do that, you need stable sati. Very, very stable sati. Otherwise, all this understanding cannot arise, cannot manifest. Okay? So far? Can follow? Yeah. Anybody want to add on to what I share or ask any question? You can. Don't have, then we continue. So, hopefully with this, it will help you develop the summary of the cultivation, because all this while, even at the retreat, I have gone through this Dhammapada verse 183, the three types of advice, and I have explained why the first two advice, to avoid all evil, cultivate wholesomeness or doing good wherever there is condition. These are both thought-based. Thought-based. So, to go beyond the thought, you have to develop the purification of mind, which is the meditative approach, or we call it bhavana approach, which involves sati, mainly sati, and a lot of contemplative wisdom which can be developed. So to develop sati, we need to have the understanding of what sati is. The moment you are without thought, the moment you are attentive and without thought, you are already in sati. That is Dhamma Code 155, unique Dhamma Code 155. So understanding that is very important. That's why you develop the understanding. From that understanding, you silence your mind. Because the moment you are attentive without thought means silence your mind. That's why the four support come in. Relax, maintain awareness. Maintaining awareness is not to arise any thought. Just aware. Finish. So, ability to be aware without thought is most important. But initially, before you develop the cultivation, most people cannot do it because they are heedless, they think a lot. The mental hindrances are there. They will hinder your mind from entering the meditative state to develop the meditative mind of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. So that is the main reason why most people cannot develop the meditative mind, cannot cultivate sati or mindfulness or awareness. So they go into method, technique, object of meditation to anchor the mind so that this mundane mind, the thinking mind, is not heedlessly lost in thought. It's not verbalizing, chattering, reacting, stirring, creating all the emotion. And all this need understanding. That's why the understanding of what is sati is very important. Sati is awareness before the knowing. When you have the pure awareness, when you are just aware before you know. To know something, you need to perceive. You need to arise the feeling, the emotion, to develop it into a thought process. That's why sati is before the knowing, before the perception, before the mind create an understanding or concept or knowledge of what that thing is. That's why the direct seeing is without thought. The awareness that see things as they are is before the labeling, the concept, the idea, the thought process. So that direct seeing, which is seeing things as they are through awareness, like the Buddha's famous quote and teaching when he taught the monk. He always said, in the seeing, there is only that consciousness, the seeing consciousness, no one to see. Similarly, in the hearing, there is only that consciousness, no one to hear. The same goes for smell, taste, tactile, and thought process. So this sixth sense door, whenever you are mindful and aware with the stability of sati or the pure awareness nature, then you can see things as they are. Then you can develop all the understanding of the teaching. That's why without sati, you can't. That's why sometimes people say sati is life. Because without sati, you cannot be heedful. And when you are not heedful, the Buddha, under Dhammapada verse 21, expressed it very clearly. Heedlessness is the path to the death. The heedless are as if dead. Whereas heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. So, the importance of heedfulness is already emphasized very clearly under Dhammapada verse 21, 22, and 23. So, the emphasis is always on heedfulness. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. Whereas heedlessness is the path to the death. The heedless are as if dead. So, knowing the big difference, the wise will intent on heedfulness and they will rejoice in the rhyme of the Arya. That one is very obvious. Then Dhammapada verse 23. That one defines clearly what heedfulness is, what apamada is, because that one points towards enlightenment. The Buddha says, the ever mindful, constantly meditative, and steadfast one, they will realize the supreme enlightenment, which is Nibbana, in the here and the now. So this understanding is very important. The ever mindful, constantly meditative, if you hold on to these two practices diligently, means steadfastly, you will realize the supreme enlightenment, which is Nibbana, in the here and the now. So, to realize Nibbana is to realize enlightenment. So, as per Dhammapada verse 21, heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. It points towards enlightenment in the here and the now. That's why if you cultivate heedfulness, it will lead you to the enlightenment in the here and the now, the realization. So heedfulness is very important, and to be heedful, you need to train the mind to be mindful first. Stabilize it so that it's ever mindful. Then use it to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path or meditation as taught by the Buddha. Then when you constantly contemplate, reflect and meditate, you develop what they call the constantly meditative. Ever mindful, constantly meditative. So these two qualities of mind. And under the Four Noble Truths, the fourth Noble Truth is very clear. The Buddha proclaim, if you cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, it will lead to the end of all suffering, which is the realization of Nibbana, enlightenment in the here and the now. So if you can cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, means you are constantly developing the meditative wisdom. That's why Noble Eightfold Path is the meditation as taught by the Buddha. So ever mindful, constantly meditative. That is what heedfulness is. So this part, heedfulness, I just write it down. So Dhammapada verse 23, yeah? Ever mindful plus constantly meditative. So these two, you add it up, equals heedfulness. The moment you can develop this ability to be heedful in the midst of life, you are destined for enlightenment. Okay? So with that, I think we will end today's session. Okay, now we come back to the second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have regarding the meditation or the Dhamma that you have learned. You can also add on to what we share today, the unique Dhamma code 156, on understanding the advice of the Buddha, Dhammapada verse 183.
Good evening, Brother Dew, Mrs.
Sir.
Yeah. Brother Dew, 今天你读这个 Unique Dharma Code， 我感觉我好像从来没有读过。
萨土。
感觉为什么你今天讲的这么的 details 的？
是咯，因为 most of the time I only have condition to explain one part, but today because of the unique Dhamma code, I explain the whole thing.
是的，因为之前我从来没有想过这个 avoid all evil, do good， 然后 link to 这个 mindfulness 可以
cultivation，
可以令到这么多的佛法出来。
对，
其实我一直在傻度你 Brother。
哇，傻度 ，very good。
好发现，
是咯，
是的，因为就以前我们起初开始 cultivate 的时候是说avoid all evil， 其实是好像很简单，可是我们在日常生活里面经常都会遇到很多的念头，很多的那种就是不是很怎样讲，不是很就是浪费时间的念头。对，所以这个是 first 最重要的，就是要去把它
all the wrong thought which are actually not useful.
Yeah. 就是因为这些 wrong thought， 因为我们当下我们还没有 straighten 我们的 views 的时候，我们是有很多的 wrong thought。
对。
但是接着走下来当你有那个 sati 的时候，你其实就是静静的看它上来，或者静静看它又下去，然后的 measurement。当你再进一步的再看它，你就不会生气，有时是不生气，甚至于因为你已经处在那个好像很寂静的那种境界的时候，你会你就是好像 Brother Dew 讲的aware 吧。
对，因为已经明白了嘛，你不会去浪费那个时间去盯的 wrong thought， 那个没意义的 thought， 就好像读报纸这样 ，90% of the news are not worth reading。So 你的 mind state become very different because from the old way, which is most of the time heedless， 乱七八糟的那个念头，你 through the cultivation， 好像你讲 through the mindfulness and the awareness， you develop the understanding Then when you develop the understanding, you understand how all this wrong thought and wrong view condition our karmic negativity and cause us to stir and react and create all the duality within life and existence, and got ourselves entangled with the phenomenal world of consciousness. And from there, we roam in samsara. Then through the cultivation of the essential Dhamma, followed by the teachings of the Dhamma as taught by the Buddha, then we start to develop the clear understanding of how living beings through delusion get themselves entangled and fall. Then we see the possibility of liberation, enlightenment, awakening. Then from there we started the faith to cultivate. Then through the cultivation, we develop all this understanding. Then we start to understand how the teaching comes about. That's why from there, you develop the more stable saddha, or faith in the Buddha and his teaching. Then everything like evolve, become more and more clear, more and more beautiful. Then you start to strengthen the faith until it becomes unshakable. Then from there, the saddha will develop the very strong virya to move the cultivation until the sati stabilizes. Then when the sati stabilizes, it becomes samadhi. Then it can see things as they are and awaken. Then later on, it can also penetrate with the wisdom to develop the understanding of the Bodhisattva way, the nature's cultivation. That one is very, very wonderful, amazingly beautiful. The Heart Sutta saying, when you realize true emptiness, then existence becomes wonderful, wonderful existence. 真空妙有. So all those faiths, they will manifest. That's why when you have the understanding, then you look at the teaching, you understand it differently. That's why I share it differently and how I link all this. And because of your cultivation, your understanding, you can appreciate. That's why you say you keep on rejoicing, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. But the whole teaching is actually connected and very beautifully proclaimed by the Buddha and taught in a very clear manner. But the sad case is that so-called penetrative Dhamma understanding has already been lost. Like people cannot capture back the essence and the understanding of it. So people just quote the Buddha's word and teaching randomly, like they are not connected, they are not a teaching. They just express here and there. And when you cannot link, means you don't have the understanding. That's why once the understanding is there, you can link the whole thing and it becomes very beautiful. And today I add in the numbering for the 4 circle formation. You realize I draw the number, the source is number 1, the first circle. And from the first circle, the first thing to come out is the pure awareness nature, number 2. The second circle formation. Then only the mundane mind manifests as the 5 aggregate of form and mind. This is the third circle. Once you come out to here, from here to here, third to fourth circle, which is the phenomenal world of consciousness, the existential world, these two, they are very, very closely knitted and they manifest very fast. That's why it's like the Buddha say, consciousness is like a magician, because we have the 6 sense bases at our 5 aggregate of form and mind level. Then from here, upon contact, it manifests into consciousness. And consciousness is like a magician. That's why this is a phenomenal world, or illusionary world of consciousness. So phenomenal world and illusionary world of consciousness is what the existence our world is, and from there you develop all the understanding. But the deluded one, they are caught within this conditioned world, trapped within this conditioned world, where they cannot break free to understand the third circle, which is the Sakaya deity within the five aggregate of form, and they believe this form and mind is real. That's why the teaching is such normal thought-based cultivation cannot penetrate. It becomes knowledge, and the training and the teaching has deteriorated until such sad situation where they even have the thought to tell them that to really become a Sotapan nowadays also very difficult. That is really a sad case. But for those who have the understanding, actually to break free from the sainthood way to go the Bodhisattva way is not that difficult too. It's quite easy. But there must be understanding. And the sainthood way, when you have the understanding, is very fast. Very, very easy. So, based on what you understand and what you share, is very good. Alicia, sadhu to you. You continue. Sorry to take up your time.
Yeah, Brad, 你讲得非常清楚。其实我最近跟好像是我的 sister 他们有一些交流。
哦，sadhu 很好啊。
觉到自己非常的幸运，因为能够怎么样讲啊？闻思修，就是我们就是在听佛法，然后实践的去修行嘛。
Yeah。
但是外面很多人都没有修行，然后他们就靠在一生病就在那边哇，我很苦，我很苦。就你看到他们你会觉得你自己特别的幸运。
Yeah， 幸运和幸福
对，非常。
We are very fortunate indeed, very blessed indeed. Yeah.
对
，compared to all those.
因为我们知道这个色身就说这个方面脉是什么一回事。
对。
因为 brother 就已经教我们所有的 essential Dharma， 我们知道怎么样function，怎么样的
对，
怎么样的从我们所听到的东西，然后怎么样的去 react 什么东西都怎么样讲就的去学习到了。但他们根本都不知道什么一回事。
对。
所以他们根本不知道怎么的去老，怎么生病，怎么的去面对这所谓的这个生活啊。对，根本都不能够面对这个所谓的。
对，因为他不了解嘛。
对。
他不了解生命是什么 ，life。They cannot understand life. That's why they don't really know how to live life. 生命生活的secret of life， 他们真的 not only 不了解，真的 totally 没有那个 understanding at all， completely deluded， 被那个condition world, phenomenal world 拉进去，做到。Like very deludedly entangled inside there， 跳不出来，整天还在讲那个不意义的，no meaning one， actually is like frivolous thought and thinking that has no meaning at all in life, that project very clearly their ignorance， 他们的那个无明，actually 无明 not easy to break and develop the understanding to awaken, to be trapped in the delusion, the Sakaya deity, and trying to find a way out of Sakaya deity is not easy. That's why not many people can understand. So 你 share 的就是 very beautiful, because when you can have condition to discuss with your sister-in-law and your relative and all these people, at least now they can develop the initial beauty and understanding of what this teaching, the Dhamma is, and how it can help them compared to the world outside. Really, most of them are deluded, really deluded. Okay, 你 continue.
Yeah，
Alicia.
就你可以在他们的对话里面，你可以看到他们所谓的那个 attachment，
对对对，
他们的那个delusion， 所谓的
对
这个 form and mind。
对，
他跟我说，你知道吗？我真的生病，我发烧，你知道吗？我在想，你发烧，你是很正常的身体给你信息，知道
nature's condition，
然后你才去知道怎么样的去把这个色身保护好，然后去解决那个有生病就去看医生，然后从中知道了解为什么生病这样子嘛。但是我看到他真的是 full of suffering， you know。4天生病，看4个医生 ，brother。
Yeah， 因为那个 mind is full of delusion, complain only， 不能够接受 no clarity， because they don't understand that the body is just a body, go the way of nature， 他不能接受，那个执着你我相啊 ，the attachment to the form, the physical body。Worrying about it, going through the process of disease, sickness, to them is suffering, no? 病就是 miserable, suffering. That's why for living beings that don't have the Dhamma, they cannot come to terms with all this first noble truth reality. Especially the first four, birth, old age, sickness and death. Especially old age, sickness and death. Most living beings cannot come to terms with this reality. And when they confront this reality, 他们真的很 suffer a lot, become very miserable. Like 他整个life got no more meaning， 就是给那个弄到整个I should say。They don't have a life. They only have suffering, misery, and they only complain and complain and complain. So that is the reality. Living beings that don't have the Dhamma, they suffer, they really suffer. That's why 一切有为法，如梦幻泡影，如露亦如电，应作如是观。They cannot understand this stanza, and they cannot really break free. When you cannot understand the 一切有为法如梦幻泡影, there is no way they can free. They will continue to complain, to lament, to become miserable. In fact, the world is full of all this. 因为最近啊，你读那个 news 啊。Especially the Iran-Israeli war， 哇，那个战争真的 created a lot of suffering, and on top of that, it also caused a lot of unnecessary fear, worry, and anxiety. Where it may erupt into something much bigger, a potential war. Because they are now no more playing the game. So last time we see all the video, the games, how they play and how they actually created the scene for you to see through all the short video. But now it's live. missile being fired, building being destroyed. And that type of warfare we never see before. And it's no longer like the warfare of the olden days, where you only use gun and all those things. Now they are talking about high-tech AI, supersonic, hypersonic, and all the very sophisticated missile and weapon. And it seems per day the cost of warfare. Somebody, I think, make a guesstimate, like Israel, the way they attack Iran and use the firepower. They are talking about 100 million per day, US dollar, no, not ringgit. And from the way things are actually being manifested, is out of anger, hatred, and fear. That's why they created all this conflict, misunderstanding. And this is just Middle East. Then there are a lot more. In fact, the Ukraine and Russian, that one also haven't ended after 3 years. So all this is what the world with delusion will actually manifest. And living beings out of ignorance, sakayaditi, self-delusion, they will continue to use the thought process to manifest all this. That's why we are going through a phase where the consciousness is really going through a testing phase. It can actually turn very bad if it's not well controlled or understood. And a lot of these politicians and I think people involved, they still think it's small thing and it's a joke. They still make use of it to make money and create uncertainty or something. But there is real danger, very severe danger. That's why hopefully the consciousness will evolve and stabilize all this. Otherwise it can get out of hand. Okay, yeah, Alicia, very good. 你 continue.
Yeah, brother. 其实我们生活在现在这个especially 现在，其实真的很不容易。如果你有佛法，我看我们一走出去，你看每个人好像都是在 lost in thought 的。
对 ，lost in thought，very true，
每天我在
你看得到的，你看得到的。
不是，而且你又看到很多人就是很苦就对了了，就我看到的很多都是苦在他们又没有这么这样的，好像都没有那个因缘去接触那个佛法，
接触不到
就是
没有那个 affinity 听不进了，
就是没有那个 affinity， 而且也，哎呀，我感觉是很可惜啦，但是
很可惜，
我也不能
during 杀生啊什么，
我也是觉得，哎呀，我能讲一点就一点咯，也不能讲太多。
算很好了咯，
因为他们
有那个因缘呀，他们有 faith in you, where they saw what happened and your transformation over the years, they develop the faith. And it's a natural thing because by now, with your understanding, 你能够 explain in such a manner that they will feel happy and good when they listen. 因为好像一个榜样一个 example for them to actually develop the faith. So initially, this can continue for a while. Then later on, as you continue to share with them, your understanding stabilizes even more. Then later on, you realize you can actually help out already. and more of these people who come to you because of affinity can receive benefit. 很好啊，sadhu，
就希望我能够尽一点点的勉励。
可以的，not a problem at all. With your current understanding, you have actually integrated this understanding into life already, and you can live it already. That's why you have the ability to actually help people now. And 他们 when they are near you, when they talk to you, they will know, because 你的那个 demeanor, the way you express yourself and the way you actually live the life is a very clear-cut expression of a role model that they are looking forward to, and they want to learn to be like you, happy, peaceful, beautiful, and life has become so different compared to maybe 20 years ago. It has evolved until so beautiful, and people can understand and develop the faith through interacting with you. 很好 very good.
就其实也是很，比方说，就是这个有为法真不容易的，因第一，它很多 condition 哦，就比方说，你觉得你好像很近的时候，它就另外一个东西 arise 来 test 你，然后
很多这些的，
你经过那个
manifesting，
原来可以这样子的去理解这个有为法哦，你就大度感恩啊，然后又再跳过去，所以就说 whatever mind state that arises 啊，我们都要真的是要 accept， 因为你不说你 so call 你很 stable 很什么，没有这个，因为那个因缘法就是这样，他要来就是要来 test 你，然后你去 develop 那个 understanding，所以最近我也是在想，哇，原来哦，你可以哦，静静的一个问题来，你就好像有一个 pause 这样子 pause 在那边 ，OK，你就 OK， 然后你又再去解决了这个问题，解决了之后啊，另外一个问题又再来哈，你会好像 pause 就那边哦，原来可以这样子解决，你就解决掉了，你就里面好像很清凉就对了。
对，you feel very peaceful, very relaxed. 好像 nothing can disturb you anymore. One by one, it get resolved. And you will also develop more and more wisdom and penetrative understanding on life. Means it not only get resolved, it like the understanding is so beautiful, so penetrative, that there is nothing in this universe that can make you miserable or unhappy anymore, no matter what happened. And that mind can have that type of understanding, like whatever arises is just the reality within the moment. And moment to moment, life passes by, come and go, manifest. And 它的因缘法 like what you mentioned, 一切有为法 it is so, what I should say, it's so extensive in its understanding, that it can apply to all situations and all beings within the entire existence, not only within our planet itself. 它能够理解到很 penetrative and very deep one, until the whole of the nature can manifest. Then you become like, the understanding becomes so different, that nature's understanding. That's why the understanding is the penetrative wisdom that evolves and manifests it. So as you continue with the cultivation and the training, you become more and more like develop in the understanding. Then 你真的不一样了，一段一段，它又在更奥妙的境界can be realized and can be understood. Then 你的 nature 里面呢 continue to evolve and become very beautiful. That's why 那一段的 evolution 是真的wonderful existence, very very meaningful and beautiful. 很好，沙丢。
就因为在之前我有点生病，然后
对，
就因为那个生病的 condition condition 到我的身体很舒服很痛。然后当我一个 condition 来我刚刚一下子一不小心我就被他抓掉了。然后我的 nature 好像 understand 为什么我要读金刚经，他叫我去读金刚经。然后在金刚经里面原来我就理解到，因为你还是抓着这个你我相。
对，
所以
你我相。
对，所以呢我就原来是这样，然后又 move on 咯，不然就他就是一直的去给你去 develop understanding。然后怎么样说，就是like brother 就讲了 whatever 你 encounter 的，你都不要说哎呀你会去 justify analysis everything
没有用的那个是 thought 来的
就没有用了，因为这根本就是一切有为法都他都是他这个不来他另外一个来，因为你的心是永远是在外面跑。
对，
所以我们的那个 training of 6 internal external basis
那个很重要
那个真的很重要，不然就
对那个 sense basis 你一 mindful 到 aware 到看到它是自己跑的它是一个因缘法来的dependent originating 的12因缘法的 paticca samuppada 你看到那个 mandate mind creating all the movement then 你去做就好像真的了咯，好像现出来了咯then deluded people entangle because they give meaning and they attach, they cling, they grow because to them is real. That's why 那个真空妙有 is very beautiful. True emptiness is wonderful. Because 就是因为它是空性的 that's why it's capable of the mind right creation. That's why 一切有为法 condition arising Dhamma because the nature is empty. That's why it can create, it can manifest, it can lead to so many things and all these are unending. And as long as you are without the wisdom, you can get entangled. But for us, 我们已经 now move beyond the creation in the sense that we can see the wonderful existence, the meaning of life. Unreal, but there is such thing as life, existence. And existence within the empty nature and the ultimate unconditioned Dhamma can give rise to so much wonderful existence and beauty for us to appreciate as life. And there is such thing as life, although it's not so real, not what we think. But when we arise as a form and mind, segmented form and mind, we really can live that phase of beautiful, wonderful existence. And every coming is so beautiful, and every segment of it is so beautiful. That's why 那个真空妙有 is a different phase where you evolve and become very different. So 那一段 actually only 菩萨才能够develop 那些智慧 and understanding to really live it. most people 他们是 the sainthood way. Once they realize that they very contented already, then they just end. Then they never explore the possibility of wonderful existence. Then for most bodhisattvas, they will go through the phase that as they cultivate, they will evolve and they will go through that phase of trying to develop clearer and clearer understanding. 就好像你跑过的这段修行咯 which is very beautiful because for you to see that the moment you try to analyze, then you realize it leads you nowhere. Then 有时候还是会给它偏去，but it's that moment only, understand not? Then you see the bigger picture. Then you from there, you continue with the understanding and 修为咯。That's why it become a unending cultivation. That's why I always use the word wisdom is unending within the existential world. 那个真空妙有啊，那个妙有啊 ，wonderful existence 啊， that one is very very beautiful and very interesting 那一段呢，你还可以修到很远去的and it can manifest a lot of beautiful thing. OK， 那个 bell 我听到了 ，time is up， 你可以 summarize
给 Brother 感恩Brother 带领我们走上菩萨道，所以大家感恩所有嘎拉米达和我一起修行，和我一起学习和教导我很多东西，所以感恩大家，感恩佛菩萨，阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛 ，Let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we will share merit, transfer merit, then we will end. Akasata ca bhumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakantu loka sasana Ettavata camehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang me nyatina hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatina hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatina hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Devo vasatu kalina Sasa sampati hetu ca Vijo bhavatu loko ca Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imina punyang kamina Mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, y'all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. There we end.
Dear brothers and sisters in the Dharma, shall we put our palms together to say sadhu 3 times to Brother Teo and Mrs. Teo for coming all the way to share this beautiful Dhamma with us. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu to Sister Sui for fetching Brother Teo and Mrs. Teo, for conducting the Zoom session and for doing the recordings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu to Sister Alicia for the beautiful sharing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
We also rejoice with Brother Tune and Sister Pamasuri for providing such a conducive environment for Dhamma sharing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.